Hey, what's up guys? Alex here with a new video, and today we are outside of the studio and we are here in New York City, and we are actually joined by a very special guest. I have Mr. Jaime Fernandez next to me, and before we even start this video, Jaime, why don't you introduce yourself?
Hi, I don't know if I'm that special, I guess, but my name is Jaime Fernandez and I shoot street photography and a little bit of documentary when opportunity comes. And yeah, we've been discussing our cameras since the last couple of days, and we thought this would be a good way to catch up.
Absolutely. So today we're going to actually be doing a comparison. And it's going to sound like a weird comparison at first, but hopefully it makes sense here in a second. Jaime has been carrying around his M11 and 35 Summilux close focus around, and he's been getting incredible shots. And for this trip, I actually left my Leica at home, which I don't do often, but I decided to bring my A1 II with the 35mm G Master. And seeing his images and seeing my images, I had the idea, how do these two lenses compare? The Summilux for Leica is the best 35mm in that system, and the G Master for Sony is the best 35mm in this system. So we thought we'd have a playful comparison and check out both lenses. But before we do that, I want to ask Jaime, why do you shoot with a Summilux on the M11?
So the Summilux lens on the 35mm is the one I've been shooting for the last couple of years, almost exclusively, just because it gives me that enough distance to be able to shoot landscapes, or at least subject with a lot of environment around them, and also maybe close portraits. And the 1.4 is just because you're guilty of it too. We shoot wide open. I like that distance, depth of field, and I'm guilty of pretty much always shooting wide open.
When I met Jaime, I knew we were going to be good friends when he told me he always shot wide open. So we're the same, but a little different. So for this comparison, what we're going to do is we're actually going to adapt the 35 Summilux to the A1. So we're going to have the exact same sensor, exact same color science, and we'll be able to see the differences between these two lenses. After we take a few photos here with a tripod and pixel peep, we'll come back, we'll review the photos and see if we see anything. I mean, are you expecting to see differences?
The theory is that the Leica lenses are coded a little bit different than the Sony lenses. Some of the characteristics of the camera are similar. Yeah. The sensor is supposed to be a very similar sensor as the one that Sony used, but in theory, Leica says that there's some different coding that they use for lenses and sensors in the...
So we'll see if there's that special sauce, the character, and see, the price difference is, I think that one's retailing for $5,500 right now, and this one's about $1,400, so it's 5 times the price. Enough talking, let's go ahead and take some photos and see if there's a huge difference between these two lenses. So we just imported the photos, and Jaime and I are looking at the raw files right now, and I'll put up the photos as we're talking about them, but this is our first impressions. So we're going to be kind of sharing what we're seeing. We haven't analyzed them yet. It's completely our first impressions. And we took a series of portraits, and we'll just kind of see if we spot any differences. So
note, you guys are seeing this in your screens from a clean feed. We're looking at it outside on an iPad, which is a great screen. Yeah. But we might not get scientific on this review.
Absolutely, and it's straight out of camera raw. So here on the left, we have the Sony. On the right, we have the Leica. I already see a huge difference, but what stands out to you?
Well, I think on the Sony looks like the lighting is more uniform throughout the image, which, whether you like it or not, the Leica seems to have more of a contrast between the background and the foreground. Okay, he's zooming in.
So what Jaime is seeing, I also agree. So the Leica has a heavy vignette, wide open, but it's not a distracting vignette. It actually almost makes the center subject pop.
Right.
So I think the contrast you're seeing is just, it's highlighting the middle of the frame, and it looks really pleasing.
Yeah, but even right next to my head, see right next to my left ear, well, right on reality, but left on the picture, the background is a little darker on the Leica than on the Sony, I think.
Yeah, the Sony definitely has a more uniform
Lighting.
image, right?
Even in my face, I think it's a little less contrasty.
And what it could be as well is, remember, these lenses are f1.4 lenses, but they don't all let in the same amount of light. So in this situation, the Sony lens might be getting more light than the Leica, and that's what we're seeing. But what's interesting is, from the sharpness perspective, they're both really sharp.
Yep.
The Sony is sharper, for sure. But the Leica, for the size, it's incredible how it's that sharp and producing that kind of quality, because it's a third the size of the G Master. But it's interesting seeing the differences. So we actually shot some pictures not wide open. So we did all the portraits wide open. Let me pull up some images shot at f2 and f2.8 and see if those characteristics still show.
Oh, the 2A were on purpose? I thought that you, by accident,
by accident, popped to 2.8. Let's look at those. All right, so I just pulled up a set of images shot at f2.8, and a funny thing happened. We actually had to go in and look at the metadata of the photos to tell the difference, because at 2.8 they look extremely similar. What are you seeing, Jaime?
Yeah, we were looking at it's a tiny bit darker on the edges. Same vignetting on the Leica image, but otherwise it looks very, very, very similar. We are finding a little bit of chromatic aberration on the areas that are backlit. You can see on the top left corner, there's a little bit of purple coming in on those leaves. Very well managed by the Sony. But other than that, maybe the Leica on the back trees is a little bit more. I think there's a little bit more depth on it. But I don't see much more difference on this actual subject.
Yeah,
very sharp.
Both are extremely sharp, and yeah, you just highlighted the differences. We're gonna look at one more set of photos. So actually, Jaime actually shot some with his M11, and we're gonna see if the M11 does any magic or correction on the vignetting versus obviously adapting to the Sony, because that is a native camera. Yep. And see if the vignetting is only because we're adapting or just the characteristics of the lens. All right, so we just pulled up a Leica M11 photo with a 35 Summilux and a Sony A1 with a 35 Summilux to see if the Leica camera does anything different. What are you seeing?
Everything changed. No, I'm kidding. No,
completely different experience.
Honestly, it's kind of what I was telling you before. Now it's a little bit more apparent to me that it seems like you're shooting with a wider lens. A little bit.
Well, again, remember, we didn't use a tripod.
I know, but still, I think it corrects less that.
Oh, yeah, so the Leica is definitely doing some corrections, because look at the vignetting in the corner. It's a lot darker on the Sony than it is on the camera. So the camera does have...
Yeah, the firmware is doing something.
Yeah, and we knew that, right? So obviously, native camera's gonna apply the corrections. And it makes a difference. Like, I think the Leica M11 photo, and this is obvious, with a 35 Summilux, obviously looks better than a Sony with a Leica lens.
The tones, I think the skin colors are a little different too. It's adding a little bit of warmth into the skin colors. We have not been very scientific about the white balance, so we can for sure judge it, but I kind of feel like it does something. We don't know exactly what, I don't know exactly what it is.
I will balance them out. So when you see this video, I will definitely balance out the white balance and make sure that all looks spot on. Mm-hmm. But a huge takeaway actually from just seeing this comparison is adapting Leica lenses to Sony does not give you the same experience.
It does not, but also it is still a great way of feeling the Leica feeling without having to buy or invest in a body. If you already have a Sony body and you want to use Leica lenses, it's, we're getting very, very close results.
And I wonder if in Lightroom I can apply profile correction to get similar results, because Lightroom does have built-in profile corrections.
Yeah, and you can also use that
vignetting.
The vignetting. Yeah, I mean, one thing that you already called out, the size. Yeah. If we compare sizes, this is a way more portable package. I was telling Alex, I own both of them. I own like him, I own the G Master one, and I continue using that for work and commercial use. This is what I carry around to shoot street photography, which I'm not comparing at all with scientific sharpness, scientific anything. I go more for character, so that's kind of still the reasoning why people go through Leica branding.
This is a fun comparison. I have been saying this for a few months now, and I actually have to correct myself. I've been saying that Leica's newest lenses are very sharp and they're very modern and clinical. And this proved me wrong. I think, look, both lenses are great. They both serve a purpose, right? It's like, that's why I mentioned this comparison is more fun than anything. You're not going to be cross-shopping these two lenses, but I'm surprised to see that the Leica has modern sharpness, but it still has character and it still has that je ne sais quoi to it. You know, there's a little special sauce to it.
Yeah, and again, same as you, I think when I buy something or I'm about to buy something, the question is always for me, Sony I buy for sure because I use for work, but when I'm gonna buy something from Leica, because the price is a higher entry point, I do a lot more research on it. And lately I've been thinking maybe I should buy some of the vintage lenses to get more character, but honestly, we probably agree on that I like a lot, very sharp. That's why I learned how to focus. You know, I want the focus to be super sharp. And if we can continue maintaining that character from Leica and still being super sharp, you know, I got just one more reason to continue shooting with this lens.
I know, now it's giving me a reason to potentially go back to the M. Oh.
Welcome to the bar.
Welcome to YouTube. Now I might have a reason to go back to the M or SL after seeing those differences, but we'll see. Yeah, this was really insightful. I actually was not expecting to come away with what we saw today.
Yeah, same, man. It was great to test it. It's a fun experiment that we came up with last night as we were having dinner.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, guys, hopefully you enjoyed the video. As always, please let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. If you like this video, smash the like button. Give Jaime a follow. He's producing some great content on YouTube. And as always, I will see you on the next one. Have a good one, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Peace.